To many, a tractor is a simple workhorse that makes farm life a little easier. But to a hardcore group of gearheads, a tractor is a 3-ton, turbocharged thoroughbred that spouts smoke and fire and bucks and bounces its way down a racetrack. They are a special breed, and so are the men who try to tame them.
In the heart of the Midwest, there's a band of modern-day marauders. Mounted atop their beasts, they line up to throw down. They are outlaws.
Welcome to Kemper Arena in Kansas City and the Western Farm Show, where tractors get top billing in the exhibition hall and on the pulling track. Hello, I'm Claude Wood, and along with Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson, we will be bringing you the clash of the champions in the highly competitive Light Superstock category. These turbocharged machines run on ether alcohol or diesel fuel, and they put on quite a show. So Dave, explain how tractor pulling works.
Tractor pulling, you hook onto a mechanical sled that as it goes down the track, the turning of the tires pulls the weight up the rails, transferring the weight from the rear tires onto the skid pan, which makes it so heavy you can't go any farther.
That sled is now hooked to the back of our first tractor, the Grand River Deer, driven by Corey Schluter, who is part of one of this sport's most famous families.
Light Superstock starting off in a hurry. Front end up. We're going to the other end. Get out of the way, sand pile. We're going to park it. The flag flies on him. What a pass. What a pass. They're going to mark it at 2:10 and 46. Not too sure they got the sled set right on this one.
As we take a look at the replay, notice how the front tires of the Grand River Deer get up in the air almost immediately, and they maintain that attitude all the way to the sand pile at the end of the track, some 200 plus feet away. Now that pull is actually so strong that the officials have decided to add some weight to the sled, and Corey Schluter will get another crack at the track in a few minutes. While the weight change is completed, let's turn our attention to our next puller, Mark Ulmer, a 4-time Outlaw Mechanic of the Year. Rick Carlson has more.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at the tractor called the Weapon. Mark Ulmer, you didn't have this tractor out last year.
No, it was parked last year because it got rebuilt. It was originally built in 2009 in Campaign, and it ran for 2 years, 3 years, won a championship in that time span, but then we had to rebuild it to keep up with the competition for 2015.
Now, a lot of you fans have been able to see that because you've been watching Facebook, and Tyler Ulmer decided that he's the one going to put it on Facebook. Why'd you decide?
Something you got to do. I mean, Facebook's a public community. A lot of people are on Facebook, and you got to get it out there. People got to know where we're from and what we do out in Menlo, South Dakota.
Wow, it's amazing to see the advances in technology and social media, Dave, and right here in tractor pulling as well.
Oh, you can watch tractors being built. Get on the website or wherever. Look at the sparks coming out of that clutch. The Weapon is fixing to be a melted weapon. The motor's not going upstairs. The clutch is not locking in, and this is not, oh, he's done for the day. New tractor, going to get a brand new clutch down the road now.
As we go on board, Dave, let's take a look at that left foot. That is the clutch.
Yeah, he's needing that motor to come high up to RPM to help that clutch lock in. Not going to happen. He knows he's going to have to work on that one.
I'd say that is the prettiest spark show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, there was something. That's the clutches. We were really hard on it, and the motor wouldn't come upstairs right, so we got something wrong. So I'm not sure. We'll just have a new tractor. A lot of gremlins. We'll get them worked out.
And this is Joe Merklin. This is his first year pulling a tractor.
We'll see him in one of the other shows pulling a pickup. He's normally a pickup puller, but now he's also president of the Excalibur Pulling Association in the state of Missouri, doing the driving for Gary Horsemeyer on the Red Power. Done a pretty decent job. Took it down the track. High RPM, he could use some more distance out of it.
The leader for the moment, but only at 190.38 feet.
Joe, you going to be happy with that? That's the first real nice pull that we saw.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work to this tractor, and I think that we need to be proud of that. And we did the best we could, and was a good track. It's tough competition, but it is what it is at this point. We'll see what happens.
Well, it looked good. The front end carried it really well, and the sled got fast and heavy at the end.
Yes, it sure did. When it dropped the pan, it was pretty much over at that point, but it was a good pass.
Neil Lichty, he's out of Lexington, Missouri, driving a John Deere 4050.
Calls it the Buckshot. Now, this is a father and son team. They share the driving. Alan drives. Alan's the dad. Alan drives sometimes, but Neil does the driving indoors. Little bit of bounce up and down, and liquid coming out of the motor, not a bad deal. The bouncing did hurt him, though. Never did really just lock in. He goes 166.88. On the replay, set in the center of the track, you like it to a certain point, and then all of a sudden, up in the air goes the front end, which unloads the drawbar, and things get a little out of shape. When you unload the drawbar, you're not going nowhere.
So after 3 competitors have taken on the heavier sled, Joe Merklin is the current leader by a sizable margin over second place Neil Lichty and third place Mark Ulmer. There are still more Light Superstock pullers to come, including the Voodoo Machine of Jason McCoy. We'll have his performance and much more when we return to Kansas City.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Bauer Built. Our strength is in our people and the customers we serve. Will Cross Seed. Good product, good prices, good service. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena, Kansas City, the Western Farm Show Championship Pull. And that will bring up next Jason McCoy. This guy is a long-time points champ. So, Dave, a lot of experience sitting behind the wheel.
Oh, yeah, Missouri State Tractor Pulling Association champion of 2012, 2013, and 2014. He's a network engineer, but the Missouri State Tractor Pulling Association Light Supers run with a smaller engine. And I ain't too sure the smaller engine was all the problem right there. That is a pretty wicked tractor. He's giving up some cubic inches, but just didn't work for him here.
Wow, and he won't be happy with that 100.17 feet. The Barn Buddy, Dave, what are the signals all about here?
Well, he's motioning to his track crew right there. Actually, to get these diesels to run, you got to keep shooting ether into the intake. And so he was telling them he had control. The motor had lit, so they backed off the track. And boy, did the motor light. Rock and roll, front end staying steady up in the air. There you go. He's liking that over on that other side. Chuck Sluter goes 193.91, takes the lead.
And whatever checklist they had, Dave, they did it perfectly.
Did for a fact. Now that right side got pretty serious on him. He had to stand on the brake a little bit, but he'll take that pull. Let's go down on the track with Rick Carlson.
Chuck Sluter, you were on the brake a bit.
Oh, all the way. She wanted to go the right side bad. Rode it hard all the way, but we kept her in, so that's what counted.
That, and it went a long way, and currently you're number 1.
So far, we got one more bullet to dodge, so we'll see how we do.
Huh? Yeah, well, no, actually, you have 2 more bullets to dodge, and one is your son.
Yeah, Corey pulled earlier, and they re-weighted the sled. Now, his motor's hot. He really don't like to pull this tractor back to back, because that motor will get hot on him, but he's going after the run. Take a look at that rear tire squat, bouncing a little bit. I'd say he's done pretty good, 189.51. That puts him in second place right now, not bad on a hot motor.
And this is Scott Whitworth out of Unionville, Missouri, getting ready to go. Well, we caught up with him earlier today.
In a sea of green and red tractors, we find a lone white. AgriLogic sponsored machine of Scott Whitworth. Scott, defending event champion. You're going to have a great big target on you.
Yeah, probably. They'll be coming for me.
Now, is everything going to be set up the same as last year, or have you made some changes?
We've made some changes, so there'll be some unknowns, but they all should be for the better.
Now, I heard you talk to somebody a little bit earlier. You've got somebody's block in here, so you've changed really the entire power plant.
Yeah, it's got a different crankshaft, different block, rods, pistons, the heads is the only thing that's common.
Well, he calls it the Cool Cat. It's a white 2180 Scott Whitworth.
Yeah, this man knows this track very well because he took a second here in 2013, a third in 2012. rocking and rolling, that rear tire squatting, but the motor just went. Oh, we got a fire at the front end. Yeah, got a fire in the hole. No big deal. We got it all put out, but that bounce right there hurt him. Definitely hurt him. He's not going to take a good run. He's just not going to like it. 174.48.
Light Superstock final results. The Schluters well represented, first and third place. Joe Merklin in second place.
Light Superstocks at their best. As we clear the track to the Light Supers, we got the mighty loud boys fixing to come to the line. It is going to be two-wheel drive. Motors are warming up big time. Kansas City, Missouri, the Western Farm Show coming back in just a little bit. Welcome back, Kansas City, Missouri. Western Farm Show, two-wheel drive, ground pounded action, fixing to take place.
A great crowd on hand at Kemper Arena. The two-wheel drives, what an exotic class. Dave has more for us.
Modified two-wheel drive pickups, 6,200 pounds. Now, the key element to this class, it's got to be a V8 automotive engine. 572 cubic inches is as large as you can go. Most of the guys runs the big Hemis. Body styles, it's a truck class, but you can run T-buckets, pickup body, car body, whatever you want. The tires, what you're looking at right there on the tires, the largest size that you can run, the big C-Peg tires. The key element into a two-wheel drive is the hitch. It's 30 inches high. The pull down on the sled chain gives you maximum traction on the rear tires of the modified two-wheel drive class.
Dean Still coming up out of Macon, Missouri. This truck is only 1 year old.
Pretty new truck for him, the Pro Designs truck. Now, Dean Still owns a towing company. Right now, he wants to tow the sled to the other end of the track. Got some ground speed, carrying the front end, motor singing. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that. 187.89, not a bad deal at all. Take a ride with him. Thought you could drive that.
Just about. The truck does a lot of it straight, true, right down the center of the track.
Rick Carlson, tell me what he says.
Dean, start off with a 187.89. Is that going to hold up?
Well, no, there's a lot of good trucks. I don't think it's going to hold up out here tonight. Waited a little too long to get into it. Should have got after it a little quicker. So I'm pleased with it. It's fairly a new truck. We've been struggling, and I was happy with it. So glad to be here and glad to have the show out here.
This is your 2011-2012 points champion, Timothy Fitzsimmons. It's a 1925 Ford T. Love it.
Now, Timmy Fitzsimmons, he pulled with a lot of different associations. Good running machine. The motor's going downhill way too fast, way too bad. That motor loaded. I seen fuel come out of that one side. Not too sure. He's going to get 181.82. Not a good hook for Timmy.
And from a 1925 Ford T-Bucket, let's take it now to a 26 Chevy T-Bucket. I love these body styles.
Robert Zychek, everybody knows him as Whitey. That's his nickname. He is a 10-time Outlaw points champion. Pretty good on an indoor track. Bouncing a little bit here. Once again, you hear the big Hemi suffering a little bit. His motor went down just like the last puller. He's going to get a distance of 183.18. Watch it on the replay here right quick.
You see the butterflies come wide open right there.
That's when he was asking for the power, and it gave him what he could, but just wasn't going to work.
That puts Robert in second place. That's old school. Let's break it a little newer. 2010 Chevy. This is Mark Jansen. Earlier, Rick caught up with him.
The defending season-long champ, Mark Jansen. You're running the Little Whip, part of the Texas Bullwhip team. They're from Texas, and you're a Cornhusker. How did that come about?
I'm actually very fortunate. I met Donald Nelson, who owns the Texas Bullwhip pulling team, in probably 1998 in Nebraska. I was actually an active duty Marine at the time, And this was allowed the opportunity to kind of travel around wherever the Texas Bullwhip team went, started working with Donald, and we just grew into a friendship that grew into a great racing partnership. So it's an awesome deal.
First of all, Mark, thank you for your service. Now, we call him an occasional driver. Don Nelson actually owns the truck.
Not only does Mark drive sometime, Don has his daughters drive. Mindy drove in Louisville, got her a 3rd and 4th place, and I guarantee you she's watching him run, and he's doing fantastic. Look at that checkered flag. He is going to be right up there with the big boys, and big boy he is, 194.75. Mark takes the lead. And Claude, take a look right here. Now, those butterflies open up sideways, but that's a beautiful pass right there.
It is on that vertical stack. That's not too common to be found, and what a great run.
Mark Jansen, it looked like you were out about 100 feet before you got all the way into it, pulled the front end up, and then it dropped like a rock.
It took off right from there at that point. It kind of drove it out of the hole a little bit slower than we usually should in an indoor short track like this. But then it just grabbed a hold, and you could feel it tug back, and you just got into it and took off. I got real lucky. I didn't blow the tires off of it, but it ran good, and it looked good, and it felt good. It took the lead. That's all that matters.
This is Bill Oberste driving Missouri Gambler. Now, it's a 1926 Ford T-Bucket.
And Bill, almost that old, too. Gray-haired goat sitting up in the seat and hammering down on 2,000 horsepower. Oh, something turned loose. Something turned loose. I don't know. He goes 177.67. Let's take a ride with him. Let's sit back to the back of this and see if we can feel what takes place.
Wow, man, what a great view. And what a rough ride. As we go to the leaderboard, Mark Jansen way out in front, but he doesn't have this wrapped up yet. A lot of great pullers yet to come here in Kansas City.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Sapp Brothers. Visit one of our 16 full-service truck stops today. Agency 212, Marketing, Communications, Public Relations. Extreme Performance, a cut above the rest. And by Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena, Kansas City, Missouri. The Western Farm Show Championship Pull. We're glad you have joined us today. A 1946 beautiful Willys Jeep driven by Richard Morris. Here we go.
Out of Neosho, Missouri, this man took an 8th place finish in Louisville last weekend on a brand spanking new motor. He's loving this motor. And right now, he's loving it a whale of a lot more. Look at that pass. Got a new leader, 195.12.
Justin Gallion, our next puller, getting set to go. He runs in 2 classes, modified and 2-wheel drive. And we wondered, what is the difference in the 2 classes? Rick Carlson caught up with him.
Well, they're about 1,000 pounds different in weight. The pickup has smaller tires, but the hitch is taller. It's a totally different experience driving that. You need to drive it out of the hole farther, and you got to really feel it go.
Now, which one have you been in longer?
I had 2-wheelers for about 10 years. I've been running a tractor for about 7, and it's pretty much a wash. Like them both.
Okay, I won't ask you for a favorite then. Which is easier to drive?
Tractor, definitely.
Maybe easier. Well, Justin just bought this truck. This is only his 3rd time to drive it. So, Dave, we'll see how that shakes out.
Well, the truck qualified when it was owned by Sonny Martinez out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Justin just bought it and got back to the 2-wheel drive world. He's going to have a little bit to learn right there. The motor's sounding good. We'll catch this on the replay. When that front end goes up in the air, you see it rear up. And when it does that, it wants to go right-hand turn slide. It just ain't going to work.
Justin, first time in Taz, single engine. You're all locked in there. Anything new?
It's a new ride for us, and it's just a learning curve.
That's it.
A little more weight on the front. And
comfortable?
Yeah, it's going to be all right, I think. Little seat time, it'll be good.
You got a grin, so that part must be good too.
Oh yeah, it's a real good ride.
Here comes Randy Wendling in his 2009 Chevy Colorado.
The broken busted machine. That truck's been called that for quite some time, but for the year of 2015, he's going to go with a brand new name. Him and his wife Kathy travel the Outlaws all summer long. Great puller, done very well here at the Western Farm Show in years past, but I don't know if he's really going to like where he comes in right here. Take a ride along.
On the replay, Dave, he didn't get very far, but it is a smooth ride.
Well, 176.92 is where he's going to park it in at, and I think that truck got more in it than that.
And take a look at this gorgeous 1933 Chevy driven by Scott Weems.
That's something about a 1933 Chevrolet with a big Hemi motor in it that just makes you love it. Up in the air, this truck can run with anybody, and it's going to be right there with everybody. Goes into number 3 at 192.83. I tell you what, he shares the driving with his boys. Him and his 2 boys, you never know who's going to be sitting in the seat. Probably me and you need to be sitting in the seat.
Scott Weems, you're finally back in it. Kids must be busy.
Yeah, they're involved with the state wrestling tournament back home in Nebraska. That's this weekend. So they opted out of this and let the old man give it a shot this time.
Well, is it as fun as it should be?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I still like the driving. It's hard to give up that seat, but everybody will take their turn.
Coming up next is Cole Zychek, and this is another beautiful ride. This is a 23 Chevy T-Buck.
The Texas two-step, Cole has learned from his dad, one of the dads. You seen his dad earlier? Cole's got it weighted just exactly right. He is going, he's going. He looks back at the play. Here is a happy, happy man. What a deal. Listen to this, 200 feet, .35. We got the winner right there. You want to see a perfect replay? You want to see a perfect pass? You want to see a happy young man? Put her on the big end. Texas two-step.
Final results, Cole Zychek locks it up in first place with his Texas two-step. Dave, this is always a wild and woolly class.
It is for a fact, and competition at its best. You take a look right there. You take the Outlaws can take this whole class, go anywhere in the United States and not be afraid to run up against anybody.
That'll put a wrap on it for Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson, Claude Wood. So long from Kansas City.